Welcome to the Accelerate Campfire. I'm Lyndon Bowen, and today I'm joined by an amazing entrepreneur. I truly hope you enjoy hearing their experiences and life path. Listen in. Justin is a Forbes 30 Under 30 CEO and co founder of NextGen HQ, a company on a mission to provide the momentum founders, students, and young professionals need to win at work and in life. He's also the author of two books, yes, two books, What Wakes You Up and the recently released Now That's Momentum. Growing up, Justin felt a desire to live life on his own terms. Looking for direction, he started asking questions and seeking out peers equally excited about chasing their dreams. In 2014, he did just that. Started a company, NextGen HQ, with Dylan Gambardella, to help those fellow young people looking to design the lives that they want to live. Without further ado, guys, please give a warm welcome for Justin here today.
Woo! Crowd goes wild.
They're
Standing
gonna actually drop in
ovation.
the chat their favorite kind of like gifs and memes to give you a warm welcome.
Cool, man. Linda, thank you very much. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you to Leslie as well. Happy to hopefully contribute some value. Looking forward to getting to know everybody and seeing how we can all be helpful and achieve our dreams together.
Great. I'm excited. Oh, SpongeBob meme. That's my favorite. The Gen Z in me is just screaming out. So we're actually gonna have the first poll drop in the chat here today. Leslie's gonna drop that. You guys know the rules. So vote on the first question that you'd like me to ask Justin here today. And I'm gonna ask him just one follow-up question while you guys do that. Justin, what is your favorite cocktail?
This is the coolest. I'm watching this poll go down. This is pretty dope. You guys obviously nailed this. Moscow Mule for me. So Lyndon, drinks on you.
Moscow
Next time
Mule. Okay.
we can get together.
Okay,
Obviously,
yeah. When I'm in New York, I'll let you
and
know. I think
jam.
it'll be soon.
Please
Yeah.
do, man. I mean, I know with 18 inches of snow, it's really not so inviting these days. But
Yeah, I don't
anybody, if
know.
you're
That
in
that
New
might be
York,
a
office is
deal breaker for me.
downtown, hit me up. Stop by. Moscow Mules on Linden.
Moscow on Linden. I love a warm drink, so like you have me at that. At least we'll have something warm in our hands with all the 18 inches of snow bearing down on us. So that'll be positive. Great. So the folks voted on the first poll here today. Oh, they aren't warm? I thought they were. Okay, wow, I'm making a fool of myself today on live podcast. Um, we all learn. Oh, ginger beer vodka. Okay, got it. I'm learning, Justin. I'm learning very fast, very fast. I'm obviously not a big alcohol drinker. Um, but the audience is curious to know, what were you doing before you launched Next Gen HQ?
Yeah. I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it. Highest level, I was in high school when Dylan and I started, and I'm actually looking at Dylan right now as him and our investor meeting is wrapping up, and they all send their best. So we were in high school when we began this adventure
Mm.
together. And if anybody remembers what high school was like, it wasn't so pretty. I think you remember what you were like in high school. But Dylan and I had a really big idea at the time, which was that I was obviously really ambitious and entrepreneurial and achievement oriented, but like most young people, pretty lost and feeling a bit disconnected, honestly. I realized really early on that I want to be, I'm sure, like a lot of you guys, in the driver's seat of my own life. Right,
Mm.
I want to be in charge of my career. I want to navigate my own path. I want to choose what I'm looking for. I don't want to prescribe to somebody else's path. It's my path. It's my life.
Yeah.
And I resonated with that really deeply, but I couldn't find so many people around me who were like that. But I believe that they were out there. I just couldn't find them, frankly. So I met Dylan at the time. We weren't childhood friends. We actually met right around this time. And
Mm.
I had gotten into my dream college at the time, Wharton undergrad, University of Pennsylvania, #1 business school undergraduate program. I was so excited to go. And I actually called them up and said, hey, I don't want to go right away because I'm feeling a little bit lost as a young person and I want to meet other young people who are living an entrepreneurial journey. Now, my language now is way clearer than it was back then. I think it probably sounded back then like, hey, I'm super freaking out, I'm lost. Can you help me figure out my stuff? But at the end of the day, it was all about finding people who wanted to be in the driver's seat of their own life. And we have a guest appearance. He's walking by, but an incredible investor, an entrepreneur, advisor, operator. He's a great resource. Dale, thanks for being on the show. I'm not sure. Say a little hello to the group. Can
Hello,
you hear
hello,
them?
hello.
We have a group of young entrepreneurs, founders, builders, and I have an investor and operator who's popping on spontaneously. Can you hear this group? Can they hear you? Lyndon, you got us?
Hey, yeah. No, I can't hear him right now, actually.
I'm not sure. I'm having some technical difficulties, but we'll have to get him on the show next
Okay.
time.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Dale.
No,
To be
you're totally
continued,
fine.
man. Thanks so much.
Oh, we can hear him now.
Sanitize
Sanitize it. Okay.
it. So Dylan and I we were in high school. We were in the
Hmm.
driver's seat of our wanted to be in the driver's seat of our own car, wanted to um, live our own life. So we couldn't find other young people who were like that. So we decided at the time, I didn't go to college right away. And we started hosting these little events, starting Facebook groups, doing community building, similar to I think this
Yeah.
incredible community here, to try to meet other people who wanted to live life on their own terms. We call that an entrepreneurial mindset. And 10 years later, it's now a venture backed technology company with 36 employees. We're based in New York City. We're just getting started at the very beginning of our journey. But 10 years as a high school, me and Dylan, our parents were the volunteer staff at the events. We were in more debt than I could tell you about, and having fun trying to figure ourselves out.
Yeah. I think that's like the stick to it nature, right? You saw a problem, you saw a disconnect, and you really jumped out to kind of like chase that. At a very young age, what was the support system around you that kind of like enabled you to take that kind of like early risk? You're pretty young, you're taking a bet on yourself. Like, what was your support system like?
I certainly was blessed with really loving and supportive parents. I didn't grow up in an entrepreneurial family, but my parents were obviously very loving, and they gave me. I went to public school, but a really good public school education. But young people today, and it's an unfair advantage, man,
Hmm.
compared to other generations, which is we have the internet at our fingertips. I mean, I grew
Yeah.
up. I was watching TED Talks when I was going to sleep at night. It's an unfair advantage growing up with technology. So that was the big breaker for me. Why did I have such a good support system? Because I'm going to sleep and I'm learning from
Mm.
Oprah and Tony Robbins and all these people, even if they weren't personally talking to me. Tim Ferriss is guiding me on
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
how to be an entrepreneur. I really took advantage of those resources, and I watched basically every TED talk on TED.com.
It's like the crowd knowledge, right? It's crowdsourcing, right? In the true
Yeah,
spirit of
man.
the internet, you're like, I crowdsource knowledge. I found it on the internet. Um, this is saying that's a great point. The headspace and people are available to like do that opportunity, so it's amazing. We actually have the next question for you here, Justin. What was the first thing that you purchased for your company?
Ooh, the very first expenditure that we probably made as a corporate entity was our very first conference. So the first manifestation of Next Gen HQ, headquarters really for the next generation, was an event we started back 10 years ago. It's called Next Gen Summit, our big annual event. And this first event that we hosted, I think you guys might appreciate this story. We hosted it in Austin, Texas. Why did we host it in Austin, Texas? Well, we knew a lot of great entrepreneurs in New York. That's where we were from. And we'd heard, I mean, we didn't know anybody, but we'd heard that San Francisco was a very big entrepreneurial hub. So we had the bright idea that if there's New York and there's San Francisco, why don't we choose the middle? And everybody can meet in the middle conveniently. Like obviously that was one of the worst ideas of all time. Nobody came from either coast, but people we now know a lot of great people in Austin. We hosted our very first conference, Next Gen Summit. Put it all on a credit card. Literally the entire thing. Venue. We booked the venue 10 days before the event because
Wow.
we knew there would be that that much of a discount. I mean, you can't even imagine the shit show that went down. Excuse my language. On the first event, that was the first big charge, and we hired our
Mhm.
first employee about 3 years later, a community manager who was incredible.
Yeah, I mean, that's the cojones, right? All I can say for that. That's amazing. Actually, I met you at one of your summits, so I mean, I think it just goes to the testament of like you connecting young entrepreneurs to each other. Like something I've met some of my most amazing friends through the events that you guys have held. So, first of all, shout out to
Thank
the
you,
work that
man.
you do. We have a question from Ziz here. He wants to know, how did you find your first major investor?
I've been chasing investors since we're very beginning until I learned like a pretty big lesson. I'll tell you now. But for the first many years, we would meet investors, but one of our I don't want to call it a strategy. One of our approaches was, hey, look, we're Next Gen HQ. We're building this incredible organization. We want to meet your investor, but we don't want to meet you to invest in us. Frankly, we're not taking any capital right now, but we have a lot of great other startups that we're meeting through our network. Would you want any introductions? So we were able to provide value and build relationships with investors years before we asked anybody for money ourselves. That was a game changing strategy to allow us to meet every investor we wanted to without going to them in a pitch, really going to them as building a
Mm.
relationship. The mindset shift that you want to make when we're thinking about investors, at least for us, I love talking to entrepreneurs. We are the prize. we are the prize. They are not the prize. We are the prize. I love our investors. I'm here in San Diego. We just had coffee with one of our shareholders. But we are the prize as entrepreneurs. That is the mindset that you need to be in. If you're in that mindset, okay, investors want to meet with you. Okay, they're it's okay. It doesn't matter. They're looking for something else. We are the prize. I
Yeah.
think when you can be in that mindset, it's hard. Got to remind yourself, but that's how you change the game.
Yeah. I mean, how did you kind of like come to that, conclusion? Usually people are chasing, a lot of entrepreneurs here, they're freelancers or, they aren't looking for the traditional type of funding. How did you come to that conclusion, really, starting off
I've been
early,
doing
so
this for
young?
10 years, man. I made
Yeah.
every mistake in the book. Because I did it the other way and it was bad. Yeah, you get it, man. When you're thinking
Yeah.
about it the right way, which is that it's hard. When you're starting out, what you don't have any resources. So you
Mm,
just figure out, okay, well, who can you kind of get desperate a little bit. You're looking to talk to anybody. I think when you have no resources, when your back's against the wall, when you're a freelancer, when you don't have a team, when you're just all yourself, whatever it is, when you're at the very, very, very beginning stages, what you have to do is simplify it. You have to
mm,
simplify your business equation. So obviously when you're an entrepreneur, you have a billion goals, you want to do absolutely everything, but you have to simplify the equation. What's the one KPI that really matters? One. If gun to your head, what's one that matters? Once you choose that one, then you can really figure out how to start executing on that one. Once you execute on your one key KPI, you make traction. Traction's impressive to your business equation. Obviously, it's more complicated than that. When you have
mm.
no resources, you've got to boil it down to one KPI that you're really focusing on.
No, I mean, I think that's amazing advice. It's really focused, right? Like, because you don't have time to focus on 10 KPIs, right? You need to focus in, be lean, be fast, and make pretty important decisions quickly. Um, you were in the thick of that. You mentioned you've been doing this for 10 years. Like, what kept you going through all of that, Justin?
You guys got to meet Dylan. He's my partner. We just had
Hey,
coffee.
Dylan.
He's a great guy. But Dylan and I have a different skill set. I
Mhm,
think obviously my skill set's different than if you have anybody with co-founders, partners. I think you'll resonate with that. My skill set is I live in a bit of a fantasy land. I mean, I kind of play in my own reality.
yeah.
So I see the vision really clearly. I mean, I can close my eyes and I can tell you what I see. I see our vision so clearly. But in those really hard times, I'm almost like it's a make believe land. Like I see it so clearly that we just haven't gotten there yet. The only thing that's missing is time. So once you adopt that mindset, you get to play what Dylan and I like to talk about is a long game, really an infinite game of I'm in no rush. I'm in no rush. Given that I see it so clearly, the only thing I'm waiting for is time. So why rush? What's the rush? If I take it
Right,
really,
right.
really slow, if I say what would it look like if it were easy, you really, really expand the game. You get rid of those mental limitations. Okay, well, I'm looking to build this company into $1 billion enterprise by the time I'm 80. I'm 25. 80
Hmm.
is what I'm looking for. Okay, I think I could probably nail it in 55 years. I think I'm enough. It's
Gotta make
enough
it happen.
time.
Yeah.
So if you change the time parameter, I think you
Mhm.
could relieve a lot of your stress and get more clear on your vision.
I love that perspective. I'm writing notes. I need to take that into my daily life right now. um, Leslie's curious to know what was that one KPI you mentioned earlier, like businesses, especially when you're early and you're scrappy and you're trying to make decisions, you should boil down to one KPI. What was your KPI?
Back in the old days, like really, really old days, at the very beginning, our KPI was something like I have better language now than I did then, but like number of super fans, something like that. So I didn't care about how many users or members or community members we had like total. I cared about how many did we have that had like an 11 out of 10 NPS that were literally loving us so much that they're referring their friends about it, and it's becoming viral on its own. So that's what we really focused on. So in year one, year two, year three, we got up to a few thousand people, and obviously a few thousand people is like, look at Facebook, LinkedIn has 750 million users.
Yeah.
We had a couple thousand, but a couple thousand were like insane. I mean, they were posting in our Facebook group 10 times a week. They were going to all our events. They were introducing us to their friends, their investors, and their mentors and suppliers. So we really focused on a number of super fans at the beginning, and that laid a foundation for us to quickly accelerate growth. People would laugh at us, be like, Justin, you're working really, really hard for only 3,000 users. I mean, that's pretty crazy. But when you have no resources, man, you gotta simplify it. Focus on
Yeah.
one KPI.
Yeah. And the second question for you here, Justin, what was there a time that you thought about quitting?
Every morning, man. I am a very nervous energy person, high anxiety. I'm not sure if that resonates with anybody else out here. Super, super high anxiety person. So basically every morning, people roll out of bed, like are really
Yeah.
excited for things. I roll out of bed, freaking out, panicking, pre-answering in my head all the emails that I have built up. Already nervously thinking about the phone call that I haven't made since last 2 weeks ago. Like I wake up more anxiety than you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
It takes me about 4 hours. After about 4 hours, I can have enough like mental strength to maybe take one meeting. Then I go into full
Hmm.
panic mode, and I have to start again tomorrow. I mean, like
Like,
I'm a pretty high anxiety
yeah.
person, so I think about it all the time. But we got really close to selling the company
Mm.
about 4 to 5 years ago, and that
Yeah.
would have been like, I mean, investment wise, the worst decision I've ever made. Our valuation is crazy since then, but it was would have been the worst decision we've ever made. Sell out so early. So that was the closest we ever did. Thank God. A lot. Dylan was very steady at that time. Shout out Lulu, Next Gen HQ Squad, who's in this. I think now if she's listening.
Hello, hello.
Actually, not sure if she is.
Yeah, but
But
they
yeah,
just
man,
hopped in. Yeah.
high anxiety, man. High anxiety. That's that's what it is.
Yeah. And how did you navigate sticking to it and not selling?
Really good question.
Yeah.
So if you're having high anxiety like me, I think there's some people in the chat who are resonating. Then you like are constantly running scenarios in your head. Okay, so I email this person this thing, and they call me back. And what if I'm arguing and it's 3 in the morning and we're on the phone? And that like you're going through all these scenarios in
Yeah,
my
yeah,
head.
yeah.
One of the positive scenarios I was going through was, okay, well, what do I do like the day after? Like, what do I do
Mm.
next? And my answer was, I'd probably start something again. Like, I'm hardwired this way. I'm an entrepreneurial person. I'm an entrepreneur. That's pretty close to my identity. So at the end of the day, I was thinking about, okay, great, we sell. Selling would just be like an easy way to kind of quit this thing, but it really wouldn't be like a win. I didn't really achieve something. So in my nature, I'd have to keep going. So I would do this thing to make a couple dollars to be able to start again at the same time. It makes no sense. It was very self sabotage, I think, in a lot of the ways that I was doing. But there's a great book, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. So that's what you got to do. You got to feel the fear, and you got to do it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of entrepreneurs would resonate with that, in particular, Justin. Like, just stick and get through, right? Even when the going gets tough, like you're really something that always sticks to me is like you are what you do every day. Like it's a amalgamation of rolling out of bed, even though you have anxiety about what's going on and showing up. Yep, just Leslie just said 80% is just showing up, right? So I mean, I really applaud you for that. And I think it's some amazing advice. And thank you for being candid about that. Most people would say, "Oh, well, there was never a time that I thought about quitting," but that wouldn't be the truth, right? Um,
Amen.
Yep. Justin, what is one piece of advice that you often share with entrepreneurs?
Um, It's a really good question. Number one piece of advice is probably to go to nextgenhq.com and
I love it.
sign up with. I'd give everybody here who's listening to this call, if you just mention that, a free membership to our organization, become a
Ooh,
member,
we
be
love to
part of
hear
it, hit
that.
up Lulu. So come in, be a free member of our organization, get access to community and education resources, free perks, free tools, pretty crazy cool stuff. In all seriousness, it's buy our new book. No, I'm kidding. I can keep going. Um, at the end of the day, here's the number one piece of advice: relax. You're doing great. This is it. This is the game. You're not waiting for the game. The game's not happening. Nothing's coming next. Relax. You're doing great. You're exactly where you need to be. If you're here, that's where you need to be. So relax. It's going amazing. I'm telling you, you just can't see it yet because you have to zoom the F out. Relax. You're doing amazing, everybody. If you're in this little Discord, you're doing amazing. The amount of people that we're surrounding ourselves with, Lyndon's group. Come on, you're doing amazing. Relax. You're doing great. Take a breather.
Yeah. I mean, I think that really resonates with me, right? Particularly like sometimes we are our worst enemies, right? What is like your pep talk in the morning when you get out of bed? Like what helps you get out of roll out and keep going every day?
Guys, I'm telling you, it takes me about 4 hours to get my anxious mind to calm down. After about 4 hours, I can have one meeting. After the one meeting, I'm cooked. I have used up all my all my energy for the day. So there is habits I'm sure other people resonate with: meditation, exercise, prayer, gratitude. So there's definitely things you could do. I think the key is going back to that perspective. Going back to that perspective that it's a long game. It's gonna take time. This should be fun. I'm not saying it should be easy, but this should be fun. You should be enjoying it. It's so much fun. Are you kidding me? I need to build my dreams out here with my best friend, incredible company, working with people like Lulu on our team. We're so freaking talented and creative. It's a dream. Pinch me, I'm dreaming. So it should be fun.
Mm.
Relax, you're doing great. That is the every day in my mind. Relax, you're doing great. Okay, I'm freaking out. Okay, enjoy it. Get to know that. Get to know that. Enjoy it. Relax. You're doing great.
I mean, I feel better already. I'm like, ooh, I don't know why. I'm like breathing out. I'm like taking a sigh. I feel like I'm taking a collective sigh for the community right now. Well, Justin, I want to say thank you so much. I feel like you've shared so many great. I know, right? Deep breaths, deep breaths, deep breaths, collective deep breath. Um, is there anything that you'd like to say as we close out here today? Any
Squad,
last
I'm
thoughts?
telling yes, I'm
Yeah.
telling you this. I put our website in the Cal invite in the Discord, and I'll also put my LinkedIn and my email as well. If you email me and just mention that you came from Linden or Leslie or the name of this Accelerate group, we'll give you a free membership to Next Gen HQ, 100% scholarship. You got to email me like ASAP because I'm gonna forget that I offered this, and then Lulu's gonna yell at me, and other things are gonna happen. So I would love to make that happen. More than anything, y'all, you're in the right place. You're in the game. If you're in the game, you're on my team. So do it. Keep doing your thing. If you're in the game, you're on my team. Stay in the game. Relax. You're doing great. I really appreciate the opportunity to contribute. Hopefully, some inspo. But much more importantly, just a reminder that I'm having a ton of anxiety out here as well. So everybody else, it's totally normal. I think the way that you're thinking. And stay in touch with me. I'm looking forward to hearing how everybody's building the life of their dreams.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thank you so much again, Justin. We truly appreciate you hopping in and taking the time to be with us, guys. Please share a GIF or a meme or a thought or something that really resonated with you here today. Um, and just to said, where's the email? Let me just pin this so that he can see this email here. Great, great, great. Well, I'm super excited, Justin, for all the things that you have coming up. What's next for you? What's next for your company?
Y'all, Next Gen HQ is we're about to explode. I mean, if anybody
Ooh,
is, I don't know if anybody is engineering. If you're an engineer, we'd love to have a conversation with you. If you know anybody, if you're a college student, or if you work for a university or organization of young entrepreneurs, we'd love to have a conversation about partnering together, getting our community integrated with your community. So reach out to me on that front. Next Gen HQ, man, I'm chasing the dream. I feel very grateful to be here, contribute every day, doing what we got to be doing, help the next generation of dreamers, baby.
yeah,
Make it
yeah.
happen. So now
Make it
that's
happen.
momentum, as we like to say.
Yeah.
Now that's
That's
momentum.
momentum. That's momentum. Well, thank you so much, Justin. We truly appreciate it. Just a little bit of housekeeping here for everyone. Thank you guys for joining in and listening to the Campfire. Please make sure to join us next week. Go ahead and RSVP for the event. We'll have that in the channel. Pretty soon, Leslie will drop that in there. Thank you guys for having us. And thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Have a great day.
Much love, squad.
If you'd like to join the Accelerate Collective and attend future campfires, visit accelerateamerica.com/join and check out our future guest at accelerateamerica.com/campfire. Take care.